let's talk about some efforts of older people, not like you, but like me, and try to pull in some revolution financial management into our lives. So go ahead and tell us a little about yourself, and then get rolling.
Well, hey, first of all, I want to thank you for having me back on the show, Jay. This is, I believe, my second appearance, and I've been working with. I'm an entrepreneur, but with many different types of businesses. But I've recently been the past 4 years have delved into the financial service world, and originally I did that just as a client, just to learn about my own personal finances, and I don't think there's anybody that wouldn't agree that there definitely is so much more room for our country to learn on how finances work, in particular for retirement. And when I started to get a better understanding of the need out there, it just absolutely blew my mind, and it compelled me to make a career shift and devote, most of, if not all of my waking hours to teaching people, anybody and everybody, about finances, their own personal finances, and kind of where we're heading at as a country. And that kind of brings me to our subject. I know you and I have talked about this before, but recently, and I'm 53, so I got my AARP invite 3 years ago.
Oh, I remember I hated it when I got that.
I never thought I'd see that one, but I'm glad I did. And anyway, so recently, AARP has teamed up with McDonald's, and I'm talking about the hamburger McDonald's. And the reason being is because they are McDonald's, that is, trying to fill or have offered about 250,000 jobs across our nation, and they're targeting seniors. Now, before you think I'm going to get on this tirade about McDonald's, and, I'm sure that a lot of people are very grateful that there's any type of opportunity after they've hit retirement age or beyond to go back into the workforce, right? But traditionally speaking, when you're looking at the fast food place, their target audience for employment has usually been what? Teenagers.
Yeah.
Historically, it's been teenagers. So the question I've been asking people, as generous as McDonald's is to offer these jobs, why do we think that McDonald's is focusing on our senior audience out there? I think the answer is pretty clear. You want to chime in a little bit maybe on that?
But first of all, there's a group of people that need money.
Mm-hmm.
They need to do something to back up their retirement.
Okay.
They're also what I was going to say is you're not going to find too many that are going to be asking for maternity leaves, and you're not going to find too many that have to balance their school schedule with working at McDonald's.
And all that is true, and one of the things that they had noticed is that when it comes to opening up a location at 5:00 in the morning, you're probably going to have a better chance with somebody who's older than a 19-year-old.
Because
right?
most of us are up already anyway.
The
19-year-old is up because they've been up since the night before, and that doesn't always bring good work.
No, it does not. But I wanted to focus on one area that you'd mentioned, and that is they need money, right? So I'm gonna read off a few statistics, and again, I'm not here to be the bearer of bad news.
Yes, you are.
I'm the bearer of realism, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and we'll eventually get there. But so right now, 40% of the American middle class faces poverty as they enter into retirement. 40% of Americans, right? And
that's incredible.
Yep. And nearly half, and that's about almost half, will slide into poverty as they enter into retirement. And now we're talking about, middle class Americans, And the poverty level right now for a single person is $11,670, right, in income. And for a two-person household, we're talking $15,730. So we're not talking about, a lavish lifestyle or a huge income coming in. This is peanuts when we talk about Southern California, as far as income that they're.
Yeah, you're not going to afford peanuts in California.
Absolutely. And so people think, well, why is this happening? Like, what went wrong? I mean, I'm not going to get into any particular type of political discussion or anything like that. But some of the issues have been depressed earnings, right, over the past 30, 40 years.
That's depressing.
Right, depressed asset values, right, and an increase in healthcare costs. And what this has done is it's causing 74% of Americans to work past their traditional retirement age. 74% of Americans are planning to work past traditional retirement age, which is about 65 years of age.
Wow. Well, I'm 73. I'm definitely still working, and some of the reason I'm still working is because I have to be still working.
Right.
I'd like to say it's only because I love what I'm doing, which I do, and that's okay. But it's I have no choice really.
Yeah, and what we're finding more and more as we prepare financial plans for older Americans, because it's never too late to actually take a second look at your finances to see if there's anything that could be done to stretch your savings, or to maybe shift your savings into something that's a bit more, conservative, or protects your savings. We're finding more and more and more of the same with people in their late 60s, 70s, and in some cases even later days, because we're living to be so much longer.
Yeah.
So people will talk about, well, what about Social Security? Well, what is Social Security, right?
Yeah, right.
And unfortunately, there's a big percentage of our population that uses solely Social Security as their retirement income, right? Now, here's the thing. That was
not in California, I bet.
Yeah. And now here's the thing. When it was started to protect the American public from this very thing, people going broke or into poverty during retirement. But the trust fund that the Social Security is in is due to be depleted in about 15 years. So what does that mean? That means that benefit checks for retirees would be cut at about 20% across the board. So basically, Social Security is going to become a pay-as-you-go a type of benefit, where we're going to take any type of contributions from current, contributors, the younger generation, to pay our older folks who have contributed for a long time and now are starting to take their benefits out. And again, that is in and of itself is extremely, extremely distressing, because the easiest way I explain it to people is, look, if you're getting $1,000 right now, you can expect in 15 years for that to be cut by 20%. So you will lose $200, if you have $1,000 benefit, if not more, if something's not going to be done about this whole situation with Social Security.
Well, when Social Security first came out, you would take it at 65 and you would die at 70. So things have changed a bit.
Yeah, it actually the age life expectancy for people, was a little bit less. Actually, it was actually about 67 when it first started. You had 50 people that were contributing, 50 workers contributing to the plan, and just one or two was actually taking out the benefits. Now you have the polar opposite. Only about 3 people are contributing for every person taking out. So it's become just a basic math situation where there's just not enough money going in, and a lot of money is being pulled out of this resource. And about a quarter of working Americans, what they've found has actually saved nothing for their retirement Thus,
Wow.
they're solely dependent on their Social Security
And
benefit.
and even if they've saved, it's going to go away pretty fast. I don't know. Did you watch or listen to last week's show with Philip Walker?
I did not. I apologize for that.
No, yeah, but you've heard him before.
Oh, yes.
So you could have said yes.
Well,
Look at what an honest guy. This guy ain't gonna make it anywhere in this. Yeah, I'm just kidding. He said that we're living longer now. Most people, if they have to sell their house to pay for health care, they, such as a nursing home, whatever, whether they stay there until they pass away or whether they're there just for a few years, whatever, they will burn through the average price home of all the equity in their home in 3 years, and then end up with nothing. So
yeah, exactly. Because what we found too is that, there's a percentage of Americans that have, and we're talking about entering retirement age, and there's actually 10,000 boomers that are retiring every single day in this country, or they're eligible for retirement, but they're just not taking their retirement. But a big percentage of them have saved, maybe I think it's 36% have $1,000 or less in savings. 36%.
Well, for me, that depends on the time of the month, right?
It's just crazy, right? So we try to kind of figure out and onionize and figure out, well, what happened, what went wrong, right? So one of the reasons, and we can shift the blame wherever we want to, but our retirement plans in general, right, have changed dramatically over the years, right? Because right now, only 17% of companies offer any kind of pension plan. Now, I'm old enough to remember, when that changed, when the 401k came in to play, and that was in the 1980s. Now, 71% of companies offer a 401k plan as a retirement plan. But what that does is with the financial novice, it forces them to acquire a whole new set of skills. They need to be their own financial planner, their stock picker, and their economic forecaster, right? And when you have a situation where only 5 out of the 50 states have mandatory financial education for graduating high schoolers.
Wow, that's crazy, huh?
Yeah, it's like how are people expected to do all these things now? Become their own stock picker and economic forecaster when there's no education. Historically, there's been no education. If you don't come from a situation where education's passed down from heirs, you're just kind of left to your own devices.
Yeah, and if you don't have a financial planner, I think most people think they have to be millionaires to have a financial planner. That may be true for some of those companies you see advertised, but overall that's not true. And good advice is good advice, no matter how much money you're investing.
Exactly, and that's why I think the biggest demographic, obviously, we're seeing this with the data that I'm bringing out, is that most financial service companies have not been willing to work with Middle America, and that's a shame. I mean, they may not have the $1 to $10 million liquid to get a phone call from one of the traditional firms, but it doesn't mean that they don't have the same type of needs. I think too often our industry is focused on wealth management rather than making sure that people are never poor. And that's one.
Yeah, well, wealth really means anything that you have, and quite honestly, including happiness. And so yeah.
Yeah, so these are just some of the things that are affecting our current retirement boom. I mean, there's never been more people retiring than now, and so some people may say, well, I'm already in retirement, or I'm already broke. This is great for people that are younger, the millennials, the Generation Xers, and recently I had a conversation with a lady who was about 60, and she's like, Ray, it's just too late for me. I'm already in retirement, or I'm going to retire very soon, and it's just too late for me to start saving. And I said, well, how long do you expect to live? She's all, well, about 85, right? And I said, okay, So how would you be in 10 years, if you didn't save? 70. And I said, well, how would you be in 20 years if you didn't save? 80. And I said, okay, well, you're still going to be 80 but broke, so you might as well start saving, right?
Yeah, and of course, if any of these people own a home, that's another story, but I don't want to get into reverse mortgages too much. We got into it pretty strong last week. But so, having a reverse mortgage gets you, prepared for just about anything, even if you don't borrow against it. But let's put that aside and go into some of the remedies that you'd like to discuss about. Okay, here we are right now. We're retired. We've got Social Security. Maybe we've got enough to get by on. Maybe working at McDonald's would help us do a little more, take a vacation, whatever. Let's get into some of the remedies other than hamburgers.
You got it. So as I'd mentioned, you're never too old or you're never too young to figure out how much income you need during retirement, right? So I think, sitting down with a competent financial planner and putting together a financial analysis can help you get a better understanding. I think too often we save and save and save, but yet we don't know, what the final nest egg, what that final nut should look like. And even if you're in retirement, like, we have to expect increases in inflation, increases in cost of living. So 10 years from now, what are we going to need in order to be able to live, the same, current lifestyle that we're living today? So getting together with a competent financial planner and putting together a strategy to see where you need to be at, and then you can start devising a roadmap on how to get there.
Now, let me break in real quick because time's going by. You are a financial planner sometimes, right?
I do that, yes.
Okay, so give everyone how to get a hold of you, and then let's get back to opening businesses and things like that. But I want to make sure we don't forget to get your contact information out there.
Good idea. So the easiest way to get a hold of me is to simply call. So the number to call is area code 714-343-9206. That's 714-343-9206. Now, some people are shy, and so they'd rather email me so they can do.
You mean like me?
Yes, yeah, exactly. You're so shy. So they can email me at Ray, R-A-Y, .Ramirez, R-A-M-I-R-E-Z, .RFM, so Ralph Frank Mary at gmail.com. So ray.ramirez.rfm, Revolution Financial Management at gmail.com. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me, either or.
Okay, now let's get to what can someone like myself do to make some money? Because, being on the radio doesn't do that.
Exactly. So, like I said,
but I enjoy it.
No, I do as well. First of all, establishing where you're at and where you need to be, 5, 10, whatever, however long you plan to live. Get a good financial strategy going first. Get some education. We do financial education classes all the time, covering the basics, and we get.
Yeah, let me just throw in a warning of don't ever decide or plan on X amount of years or when you're going to die, because probably ain't going to happen.
Exactly. But you have to have some type of destination point. So one of the first things that people can do, and even in advanced ages, start your own business. Become an entrepreneur. If you've never done it before, but that's one of the best ways to create extra income. And we're living in the gig economy nowadays. There's a lot of different ways where people can start their own businesses and start creating another stream of income. It could be something that they're passionate about and they've just never done, or they could just be very practical, figure out where there's a need, like financial education, financial services, right? And slowly start their business. They can become a consultant. They can do freelance work, right? Insurance sales, financial services. Those are great ways. Right now, I think most people are unaware. Back in 2008, we had 350,000 licensed financial advisors in this country, right?
Wow.
We're down to 250,000. 250,000, right? So there's a huge need even for our industry And this is one of the few places where you can start working, and just because you got a little gray hair, you're going to get a lot more respect than some of our millennial
Now, wait a
friends
minute.
out
Do you
there.
need hair?
You don't need hair, right?
Okay, just checking.
Okay. Being a caretaker, working as an event staffer, hotel concierge or tax preparer. There's a lot of different things that people can do, but the first thing is they need to decide, figure out where they're at, where they need to be, but make a decision, right? Do your research. There's a lot of different things you don't have to devote a lot of time to. You can control your time, and in some instances, control your income. I think those are some of the areas that could be good fixes and good fits for some of our older folks.
Absolutely. And again, I'm bringing in reverse mortgages, but you don't have to do this because of a reverse mortgage. But, I've talked of, well, no, let me just say I had somebody with a multi-million-dollar home that lived on the coast south of here. He wanted to open a publishing company with his son. So he took out a bunch of money, not huge, couple $100,000 from his home, and they opened a business. And as far as I know, business is doing just fine. If the business had failed and, the parents passed away, the heirs would have been down a very, very little bit on the home's value. No big thing at all. But in the meantime, they have a chance to really build a large business, or even a medium business, a business that makes them feel good and makes them money.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if you're an older person with a lot of talent or a lot of street smarts for a specific kind of work, put that talent to use and, get together with your heirs or others in the family or whatever, and actually make yourself live longer, I think, by being active, and increase your legacy at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And though I'm not in your industry, but I will concur. There was a poll done in 2009, and it revealed that over half of those ages 45 to 75, they're behind their retirement planning. However, with those that had assets of at least $100,000 or more, what they found was that the majority of their wealth was in their home equity, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different possibilities out there for us to get started, to fix what's broken. But I can't emphasize enough, if we bury our heads in the sand, if we just continue to sit on our couches, if we're just worrying about it, that's not going to change anything. We have to get up and we have to do something about it. And whether it's calling Jay or Ray.
Hello. You can call me Ray or you can call me Jay. Or anything for that matter.
I'm sure there's something that we can possibly help in.
Give your number one more time.
Area code 714-343-9206, 714-343-9206. I have an office located in Orange County, but also Los Angeles, but also work across the country, just like this, with Skype, Zoom, things like that, where we're able to help, able to offer financial plans to pretty much anybody in any state.
Yeah, basically, there's nothing to it. And then you know what? I might as well throw in my phone number, too. 866-955-2233, 866-955-2233, and enough for the advertising of ourselves, because we really want, other people to, even if you never call us, think about those things. Think about what Ray is telling you about, and, we've talked about before. Get up and do something. Not that you're not, but some people aren't.
That's true.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jay. I always appreciate.
We've got a minute or two.
Yeah.
So let me ask you: are your plans in the future? 3 minutes. Okay. We have. Are you planning on? So after you retire, is it going to be Carl's or is it going to be McDonald's?
Well, to be completely honest, I was just talking to my wife about this retirement the other day, and I don't think I'm going to retire. And here's the reason why. It's not because of lack of planning, lack of funds, or anything like that. I just know that in the future things are going to shift for me, where I'm out there in the trenches, kneecap to kneecap with the folks that need the help most. I
Right.
definitely see myself reaching broader audiences in platforms like this, in
Yeah. Now,
television, book
you and I
writing.
have had that kind of career where we're not specifically working for a big company, a specific boss,
No,
other than our own clients. So we can keep working. But a lot of the listeners, they have worked for a specific company, and
true.
they're gonna be forced to retire at a specific time at a specific age. So I think all these things we're talking about really applies to them. And I think the more you stay active, I've got some friends who, they're just not active anymore, and you can tell, you can
Hmm.
tell. And I just think staying active, if it's working, well, that's the way I know of how to stay active. But it doesn't only have to be that. Get up, go out with your friends, run around, or stroll around, or use your wheelchair, whatever it takes to get out and get rolling. And oh, when it comes to that, I was going to say San Clemente Ocean Festival is this weekend. Now, most of the listeners aren't sitting in San Clemente, but you're all very, very close to a Metrolink station. There's one in Paris, there's two in San Bernardino, there's Riverside, just about, all those areas. Get on a Metrolink, $10 round trip, go to the San Clemente Ocean Festival. If I go, that's how I'm going. So there's all kinds of family events, lifeguard competition, surfing championships, pancake breakfast, count me in,
Awesome.
beach party, free concerts, sand sculpture. They can build something around me and win. And fishing derby for all ages. If they have a fish eating derby, I'll be the winner. Nothing to it. And bodyboarding. I'm very, very popular at the beach. I create a lot of shade and I'm very buoyant. So, that there's a lot for me going on. And so get on the train, get out there. And Ray, really, really appreciate our discussion.
Okay.
Take care of yourselves, everybody. Have a great weekend, and thank you so much.